And in the end, when we activate Kundalini, that means we activate Ma Shakti in us. And then Ma Shakti has that eligibility or capacity to go and unite back to the source. And when she goes and unite back the source, that means we go and unite back to the source.
Investigating the wonder of consciousness, the nature of mind, the miracle of the body. We'll talk with elders, lineage holders, seekers, scholars, and practitioners from diverse wisdom traditions to explore the precious convergence of the being, the psyche, and life itself, and how we can use the alchemy inherent to that meeting point for transformation. I'm Laura Karate, and this is the delicate business of being human. Courting the mystery, weaving the story, and bringing it all back home to the body. We're joined by Gurumaa Dipti Rajkumar Baswar, who is a lineage holder and head teacher in Shivoham ashram, which is located right in the heart of Maharashtra, India. Gurumaa has been part of Shivoham since she was 16 years old and is now initiating and guiding many students. Shivoham is a school of traditional Tantra, which means that they are using mantra, yantra, different tools of meditation, yagya, which is fire ceremony. And Shivoham literally means I am Shiva. So Shiva is the ultimate destination. Traditional Tantra differs often from what we conceive of as being Tantra in the West, and hopefully after today we'll have a better sense of what that means. And Gurumaa has come to guide us through some basic principles so that we can better understand the trajectory of the evolution of the being. So welcome back, and today we are going to welcome Gurumaa Dipti Rajkumar Baswar from the Shivoham ashram, and we're going to ask her a bunch of questions and learn more about her life. So welcome, Gurumaa Dipti. It's so nice to have you with us. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here.
Thank you so much, Laura, for this beautiful opportunity to come and chat with you. I'm going to really enjoy this.
Yes, me too. I've been looking forward to it for weeks. So Gurumaa, first I want to just talk to you about you. How did you come on this path? How did you arrive where you are? What was the beginning for you of your spiritual path?
What I believe first, I think it's destiny. When you have anything in your destiny, when you are made for something, you don't need to choose something because the atmosphere is choosing you. Guruji always says there are two types of plans, your plan and God's plan. And God's plan is always perfect. Sometimes you will see that maybe your plans are your desires and you crave for it. But over the time, when time passes, you see that God's plan is always best for you. Always. And this is God's plan for me. First of all, I'm born in a Brahmin family. So pujas and rituals were always there. I grew up with my grandma stories. My grandma used to tell me stories about Krishna and so many beautiful things, divine stories. So I used to enjoy them a lot. And I would say I'm born spiritual. When I was little, my mother used to say that I would refuse to go to school without going to temples. I was the only one in the house who was doing like 2 hours of puja and all these things. Like all other people were doing, but it's like for that age to do everything yourself and so interested in ritual, going into the temple. When I was teenaged, I walked every Mahashivratri. I used to walk barefoot for hours to go to Shiva temple, and nobody told me this. These were my choices. And in that way, with all these choices and curiosity to know more about divine has brought me to this path. When I met Guruji at that time, I think I was 15 or 16 years old, going to school because of my curiosity. I always used to sit in another room and would listen to Guruji talking because we would have Guruji coming in our house and many people would come and they would ask questions. But I always tried not to ask questions, but to just listen, just listen. And many things just started unfolding in front of me, just by listening. So this is like first lesson for all the students, all the seekers, this use less, this use more. These input devices are storing the energy. Use this, use this, use this, use this skin. All these input devices, are storing the energy, which we have 10 indriyas, Gyanendriya and Karmendriya. These are the Gyanendriya. The reason it is called Gyanendriya because it's constantly taking knowledge inside. So become active listeners, active watchers. So I always did that. And then I would think about it, get my questions, try to research. And then after all the research, I would come up with all these things. And then I would get an approval from Guruji. Or many a times I saw that I would have a question when I am giving it a time and trying to think about it. I would see automatically somehow all the situations around me starts giving answer. This is your connectivity with nature, that's what I believe. So in this way, the journey from a little spiritual girl to become a sadhak and then to come in this lineage as a Gurumaa. There are many, many different situations in my life which actually lead me to come on this position and become Gurumaa. But one thing which is most important, why you became Gurumaa, how you became Gurumaa, is stories. But what you got becoming a Gurumaa, what was that spiritual reason behind it, I know that. So I don't know how many people in this world can say that I know my purpose of life, but I can say I know my purpose of life. I came, I became Gurumaa, I became bridge between Guruji and all the disciples of Shivoham. And that's why I am on this earth, because I can understand Guruji, I can give all his teachings, all his beliefs to the students. And this becoming a bridge is my purpose, and it's also evolving me every moment. Without asking questions, you actually get to hear so many answers. So it's a beautiful path.
It's such a beautiful thing that you're saying about this attitude of listening, this attitude of receptivity, instead of going and trying to get things, of just allowing it to come in and digest in your body and be there. Can you speak a little bit about what Shivoham lineage is for the people that don't know, which is probably many people who are listening to us? What is a lineage, but what is Shivoham for you?
First of all, lineage. What is lineage? Lineage is people with similar likes come together and they follow a path. They follow some teachings or beliefs together and they are enjoying it and they are growing together in it. For me, that's the lineage. Like you have your bloodline lineage. So if you are born into certain bloodline, you have similar genes. That means you have similar traits. That means you are going to behave similar way. There will be differences. The genes make it things similar. In the same way, in spiritual lineage, it's the genes are the things which satisfy you. So people get satisfied with similar things, come together and they practice and they evolve together. So that's like a lineage. For Shivoham, Shivoham itself explains. Shivoham. Shivoham means I am Shiva. So Shivoham itself tells that we follow Shiva's principle. We all together here are following Shiva's principle and wants to walk on the path of the Shiva. So that's how this lineage is the Shivoham lineage.
So for people who are maybe unfamiliar with Shiva and what that principle even is, could you just explain a little bit about what is Shiva? What does he represent? What is this energy?
Many different kinds of explanation for Shiva. If you see, Shiva is everything and Shiva is nothing. So, how you want to know about the Shiva, that's actually your answer. Because there are so many people with different way of beliefs, different way of practices, will tell you different things about Shiva. There is a group of people who are like, they are working with Nirgun Nirakar, who says that divine has no form, no color, no specific. That's Shiva. Nothing is Shiva for them. Yeah. And there are many tribes, many people who say that stone has a god, cow has a god, tree has a god, every human is a god. So for them, everything is Shiva. So it's really hard to put Shiva in a definition. But technically, in Hinduism, it is said there are three main deities. One is creator, one is sustainer, and one is destroyer. Creator is called Brahma, sustainer is Lord Vishnu, and destroyer is Shiva, Mahadev. There are many names of Shiva, so Mahadev is one of them. So if you just want to know like a technicality, then Shiva is the destroyer among the three. And if you want to know the emotion, the sense behind it, this all three are three different forms of the same energy and named as three different because we needed to know the different cycle: creation, suspension, destruction. And then we, to make it more simplified for people to have this divide, to be able to connect, we created. So for me, divine is like that one source which disperses and divides itself according to need of their devotees and helps all the devotees to come together and combine with itself. So I feel this is the structure of divine.
That's the structure. So separating and then bringing back together. And so would you say that this path of Shiva is the particular face of the divine that you're most resonant with? And so this is the path where you try to come into oneness with that form of the divine or that aspect of the divine. Would that be correct in saying?
Yes. Now here you see, like what we said, that all the divine, all three are actually same energy. The source is same. But for understanding, we made it three. And then we say we follow this one because the principles of that form of divine is like creator, Brahma, creation. When a little child comes, then the side of Brahma after creation, which will, the seeking is knowledge, to understand, to know. So this is also actually our life phase, that when you are little, you want things, you want chocolate, you want tasty things, you want good dress, you want education, you want things. And then you come in the sustention mode where you are earning your whatever you gain knowledge and you got all these things, you got good health, good body, you're using all those resources what you got after you got created, you are using those for sustaining yourself, for earning. And then at one point you come in that fourth phase that you be detached from all these things. That's the phase of Shiva. That's the phase of Shiva, that all this thing is materialistic. In this both the phase creation and suspension, you have desires, but in the destruction, when you come in the phase of Shiva, you're just focusing on your needs. Desires are not there, and then you are so neutral. If you're getting something, okay. If you're not getting something, you're okay. You're focusing on what is helpful, minimalistic. You become minimalistic. So if you see the principles of Shiva, it's like it teaches you how to be detached with things, to be with everything. When it's available, use everything, but also when it's not available, be detached with everything. So there are many, many type of lineages, many, many type of path available in spirituality. You have Vedic parts, you have Vedanta, you have, Tantra, yoga. Many people will have different way of teaching.
So you are speaking about there being these different paths, Vedanta, Tantra, and I understand that Tantra is the path that is being practiced in the ashram and in Shivoham lineage. Can you speak a little bit? I know it's an incredibly vast topic and we could spend the rest of our lives talking about it. And I have spent most of my life studying it and I still feel like I know this much. But can you speak a little bit about what Tantra is? What makes that different than Vedanta? What makes that different than other paths? What is Tantra?
This lineage believes that Tantra is life. So every day what is happening in your life, every day the changes, what is happening, every day the new things which are happening is Tantra. Because Tantra is universe. And universe is every day changing, every second changing. So this change is also Tantra. Anything, because if we see the exact translation of the word Tantra, Tantra is technique. So this technique to live the life, technique to do anything is Tantra. So you can't put it exactly in one definition that this is Tantra or that is Tantra. We humans have created these things, these terms that this is pure, this is impure, this is good, this is bad, this is useful, this is not useful. Divine has no word like impure, not useful, bad. We know that what is useful for us is useful. Something which is not useful for us, waste, is not for us. We throw it away. We throw it away from our universe. But we cannot throw it away from the universe. So it's still in the universe of divine. And divine is not throwing it away. Okay? So if you see in this way, this is why Tantra is universe of the divine, not our. We all in our space, we are this little universe. But this universe is focused on our own needs, our own desires, what we like, what we don't like. Like for example, there are so many sounds in universe, but our ears can handle some frequencies. Some frequencies which we can handle best, those are melodies for us. Some frequencies which we cannot handle, those are waste products for us, because noise, that becomes noise, no melodies. But there are so many frequencies we don't even hear, but they still exist. They are part of this universe. So this is why you cannot define. Some people will say Tantra is melodies for me, and some people will say Tantra is noise, I don't follow it. But actually the Tantra is all the melodies, noise, and that frequency which we can't hear, if we see it in more broader aspect. So that's the belief. That's the belief of Guruji, because when we say that Tantra is universe, it's always changing. The planetary positions are changing all the time. The earth is changing all the time. There is this science of universe which is constantly running, and this is Tantra for us. In the same way, what it teaches us that not to be, in this box and see beyond this box. Keep on changing, keep on experimenting. Of course, follow the teachings which are there in ancient scripts, but also keep on experimenting, keep on flowing. This is why, the first thing in Shivoham, when everybody comes, the first mantra or the first teaching is given is flow with the flow. This is we love to tell all the students, because once you start energy is not gonna work how you want to work. You in your hands, you can start the energy, but then you have to work how energy is working and how it's needed, because spiritual sadhana is not like a planned workshop that breakfast this time, meditation this time. When you're connecting with universal energies, universal energies are not something which you can put on a paper, on a schedule. You can't say that, okay, I'm going to do this and not do that. You can't have appointments there. You need to flow accord with the flow of the universe. And this is why we say that Tantra is universe. When you come on this path, you learn how to be connected with the flow of universe and go in that direction. And I think same way everybody should be in their life. You know, okay, have your plan, but also and flow with God's plan. So we come back again to the God's plan.
Yes, this is the central point. Yeah. And so you mentioned spiritual practice, and this makes so much sense because, weather, for example, is part of the universe. You don't know when the volcano is going to explode. You don't know when the storm is going to come. There's nothing you can do about it. All you can do is be with it. And so would you say that Tantra is a path which is including life, not just focusing on this in me, which is eternal and unchanging and unwavering, but also that's including all of the vacillations and the shifts and the movements of life itself? Is that accurate?
Yes, yeah. Yes, and this is why I said that you can see Tantra as a path or Tantra as life. So, Tantra is a path if you see, and the rituals, following, teachings come. But when you take Tantra as a life, then all the paths are actually in that Tantra. Vedic, Vedanta, yoga, this, Ayurveda, satsang, eating, getting married, having children, or dying, everything is part of that Tantra. So, either Tantra as a technique of spirituality or Tantra as a technique of life.
Yes. And so you mentioned spiritual practice. In Shivoham, for example, you come and there are all of these different practices that you learn and that you do. What is sadhana? Like, what is the objective of sadhana? What does sadhana do? What can we expect when we do sadhana? Another small question.
If you go to a doctor, the first thing you go and you say, okay, I have fever. What is expectation you have from doctor? I want to cure my fever. Okay. And then doctor gives you medicine. That's why the medical term is said as practice. I am practicing as doctor. They say this. I am practicing as doctor. Because every patient is a unique case. Everything what the doctor gives to that patient is a trial, because everybody is unique. So you don't know that if the medicine what he's giving, how this medicine will react, how much time will take, and what is his history, what is his gene. So many things are there in this body which a human doctor cannot just see, but he is there because he has studied the case, and then he's here to guide you and help you. No? In the same way, when a person, when a sadhak, when a practitioner comes to a guru, there are so many things connected with that one person. If there is a sadhana going on, sadhana here, let's use the word, traditional word sadhana. Let's use another word for everybody's understanding, workshop. Okay, let's say there is a workshop happening and 10 people came there. In that 10 people, guru gives one mantra to those 10 people. What do you think? So that mantra will work same with those 10 people? Do you think that?
I don't.
Of course not. Because every body is unique. In the same way, every Kundalini, every journey of the soul is unique. What this soul in this body, when it had another body in past life, what that soul was doing. It was in the spiritual journey. What is the level of spirituality it had? All this journey is seen. Karmas, past life karma, this life karma, which lineage it's born. If there are some depths or something in this bloodline, so many factors are there. So many factors. This is why one mantra will work totally different or different people. So this is why this question, when you say, for any spiritual practice. You can't ask this question in any case. If you can't ask this question to a doctor that you're giving me this medicine, what exactly and how much exactly this medicine will help me? Because it's a practice. You eat it, you experience it, then you come up with the result, and then I evaluate the result. That's how medicine works. In the same way, in spirituality also it works the same. You can't ask a yoga teacher how this asana and in how much time it's going to make a change, because it will depend on how you do it and how much you will practice it. If you are in front of yoga teacher, they are guiding you, but if you're taking and learning and going home, and if you don't practice it, then you have learned a yoga, but it's not going to make any change. So that's why this question, that what it will give you doing sadhana, what it will give you, it's a big question mark. There is no answer for it, because it will give you what you are eligible to get at that moment. If you are doing your sadhana properly, of course there will be a lot of changes you can see in yourself, but these changes will be completely different person to person. Some people will find that when I am doing this mantra meditation, when I'm doing this practice, sadhana means practice. Now this practice can be sadhana of the yoga, sadhana of the mantra, sadhana of the yajna. Sadhana means practice. So this practice, what I am doing, is giving me, some people will see they are getting purifications, they are learning how to release their emotions. Some people will see they feel strength after the sadhana. Some people will see that they are getting all the doubts out, and they are getting confused about things. Why all these doubts are coming up? I'm doing my sadhana, but now I feel detached from the sadhana because it's bringing all the heavy stuff out. It's beautiful. Some people feel amazing, peace, stable, clarity. So it's different. So 10 people in a room doing same mantra sadhana, or doing same practice, any kind of practice, will have different results. And it's totally depends on your soul's journey on the spiritual path, and your karma, and your dedication, and the intensity what you're doing it with it.
So let me maybe ask it differently. Why would we do sadhana? Why would somebody do sadhana? Like, what would bring somebody to the place where they go, oh, I would like to use a mantra, or I would like to do fire ceremony, or I would like to do something like this? What's the impulse there?
It's to focus our energy inwards. It's to connect with our own energy, to reawaken our inner guru, and to know ourselves. It's funny because I was telling of this little story about Ma Parvati Shakti to some people who came here earlier. I will just say that in short so you will understand. It is believed in Hinduism, there is a story where Ma Adi Shakti, whom we know as Parvati, Adi Shakti means the first energy, the first Shakti, the first one on this universe. So for the work of creation, it is said Ma Adishakti created all the species, you know, trees, animals, us humans. She is the one who created. She is the warmth. She is present in every particle of this universe. So basically, the whole universe is Shakti. Okay. So when she did all these things, the time came when the creation was done, and she thought about this, that now I have created all these things from the source. I created all these things. Now all this creation should have a path to go back to the source, complete the circle. So this whole Maya world, what she created, she also said, okay, I want to go out of this now and get connected with my own self, my true form. So she did all this sadhana and processes and these things to purify all the elements, because when she created she used 5 elements which holds you in the maya. So then she did all the sadhana, she purified all the elements, and then she got connected with her own self. And this is all these practices. In this yoga, mantra meditation, all these tantric practices, Vedantic practices, many things are together. So she created all these things so that we can also understand ourselves. We can get connected with our own self, and we will be able to break this cycle of Maya, which is like cycle of illusion. So this is why any sadhana practice will tell you the same thing. For inner peace, for moksha, for enlightenment. What is moksha enlightenment? To know yourself, to awaken your inner guru, break the cycle of the Maya, and get united with your true self. And that's the reason everybody is doing sadhana.
Beautiful. And you mentioned, so there are a few things that you mentioned, and I would like to ask more about them. So you mentioned a few times the use of mantra. What is a mantra for those who don't know? What is a mantra and how do we use it?
As we said earlier about sound frequencies, everybody has their own sound frequency. No bird has its own voice, its own language. When one bird says, 10 birds come. So this is a way of communicating. They are coming. We don't understand what they are saying, but they understand what they are saying. In the same way, there are so many sound frequencies which are connected with different energies of this universe. So this mantra is all type of sound frequencies. Now at this moment, what I am saying, it's going to you and you're absorbing it. So this is also like one mantra. I say something, you understand, and you're reacting to me. So we're doing energy exchange with this sound frequency. This is also, we can say, mantra. There are some sound frequencies which are present in our Kundalini, and these same energies are outside. When you do that certain mantra, that points get activated in the Kundalini. That's why when we are doing a spiritual practice, we are saying this frequency, or we're using term as mantra. When we are talking, we are using term as talking. So tuning to that certain sound frequency to activate the connection of that point inside us with the energy present in the universe. So this, the medium of this is this mantra, that specific sounds which we are saying and repeating with the rhythm.
Great. So a mantra is a kind of call, maybe to a certain frequency in the universe, you could say. I'm trying to get into resonance.
Yes, yes. There is one more good example we can give here. There are all this sound on radios, which is coming in the form of frequency. When you have a device, a radio, you turn and you tune to a frequency, you start hearing that sound which is there. In the same way, there are energies when you tune with the mantra, and then you start feeling those presence of energy and connection through the mantra. So it's this doing mantra sadhana is like tuning and connecting with that energy frequency which is present in the universe.
And so the teacher would then give you the mantra that's appropriate for a certain energy that you would tune into. Is that correct?
Yes, it depends on what you need, what path you are working on. Sometimes some people come with certain needs. I want to do certain practice for this specific thing. So there are some mantras to connect with certain energies there. And some people come with surrender, that I just want to work on myself. Then a guru chooses the mantra, what is best for the sadhak.
And a few times you mentioned this idea of guru. And I'm curious if you can speak a little bit about that because you said you spoke about a guru like a teacher outside, but you also spoke about awakening an inner guru. And so is a guru an outside thing? Is it an inside thing? Is it a universal thing? Can you speak a little bit about the guru as a principle?
Guru basically is the one who shows you light, who's guiding you in the path. This is why there can be many, many gurus. One we said internal guru in cartoons when we were little, that we used to watch like a lot of Tom and Jerry shows. And the Tom and Jerry shows always showed Tom is planning something naughty. And there is white Tom sitting here with the golden ring on the head and saying, don't do it, don't do it. And then there is this once with the devil, please do it. So we have both the voices inside us. The
Yes.
moment we activate the positive voice who is connected with humanity, who will give us positive energy, help us, guide us in a right direction, what is that? That is our inner guru, because it will always guide you. We can also have a proper word for it, now. Concise.
Conscience.
Yes. Yes. So yes, you have this inner voice which always tells you this is right, this is not right, you should do this. Or when you have already done something, you can also see that you can have big ego to accept it, that I have done this wrong, I have hurt someone. So these words which are going in your mind is that inner guru who is guiding you. But then there is, as we said, Maya, which is saying, okay, I did wrong, but I don't need to accept it, because why should I accept? Because that person also did equally wrong. So this is right. So wrong comes together and becomes right. So that one is telling you this. So if you have this strength of accepting the right and defeating your ego, that means your inner guru is becoming more and more stronger, because you're listening to the voice and it has the effect on you. It gives you power to accept it. Like in the same way, the outer guru is a body made up of 5 elements, whom you really see as someone who you can trust, and where you put your ego on the feet of that person and you're ready to accept teachings from that person, suggestions from that person. So there is no difference between inner guru and outer guru, because they both get activated and strong and beneficial when you have surrender and acceptance.
Mhm. And is sadhana something that also strengthens this relationship to the inner guru?
Yes, because as we said, that it brings out emotions,
Hmm.
it starts showing you
Mm-hmm.
from different direction, it starts projecting you those sides which you are not able to see. And that's why
Mm-hmm.
you start seeing what kind of person you are, how you can do better, how you can't do better. But this is also equally important. If a person is doing sadhana with big ego or a purpose, then that person can't see many changes in their character or the changes in them, what is happening. If the person is doing sadhana with a motive that I want to do sadhana to get power, so the person is so much focusing on the power, is not trying to accept all the changes if they are coming on the way, because the motive is to get the power. If person has the idea of doing a spiritual practice, that I'm going to see something or this, so it's not trying to see other changes happening around him or her. So this is why the first element, if you want to see a change inside you or any proof of presence of energy or these things, stop searching for the proof of energy. Just do it with surrender. Just do it, accept whatever is happening in your life, and then you will feel it. Open your eyes, open your mind, to see from all the directions. Little changes also matters.
Yes. Beautiful. And Guruma, I know we're running out of time, but I wanted to ask you one last question because you mentioned Kundalini. And Kundalini is something that people have very weird ideas about what it is. I feel very misunderstood, and I'm wondering if you can just speak a little bit about, in your understanding, what is Kundalini?
Kundalini, in a more structured way, is set of chakras, 72,000 nadis, and a way to connect with the source energy. And when you activate it, you feel yourself from this Maya cycle and you get enlightened. So this is basic definition of Kundalini. Like everybody will tell you about chakras and this and that and this. But if we go in more bhakti way, Kundalini is Ma Shakti itself inside us, residing in our body. It's that particle which is telling us that you yourself is Ma Shakti. Does it make sense? So, because earlier what I said is Ma Shakti did all this creation and created all the species. So that means everything on this universe is Shakti. We ourselves are also one particle of Shakti, and that one particle is living in this temple inside is Kundalini.
Makes total sense.
Once you do sadhana and you activate it, you understand it, you connect with it, then you will transform yourself into a complete Shakti. So, this is all the spiritual work with different paths we are doing is for understanding and realizing and uniting with that particle of Shakti which is present in us. So, Kundalini is that. Now, in modern world, it is also said you have different chakras, like Mooladhara chakra is connected with the ego, or Swadhisthana chakra is connected with this and that, whatever these phases are. Everybody's talking, the Kundalini is this. There are also explanation here that this chakra is doing this, that chakra is connected with that deity, or this chakra is bringing emotions, this chakra is getting this problem, or Ida Pingla, Sushumna, the main nadis we are talking about. Then there are many more things. If we go into the details and every section, there are many, many things to talk about. But basically, when we are just meeting with everyone and before diving into this path or going deep into this and want to understand different layers of it, at very initial level, we need to understand this, that what is Kundalini is Ma Shakti within us. And when we activate it, we become connected with her. We become one of her, one like her, one with her. And she becomes one with Shiva. So that's the medium to get connected with Shiva. Because we are a Shaiva path, this is what we follow. But again, Shaivism will say the supreme source of energy is Shiva. Vaishnavas will say supreme source of energy is Vishnu. Different paths have different name, but the source is one. So if we again see to that little story, what I told, that Ma came and she did all the work of creation, and then she did a sadhana, and she recognized herself, and she came in her own form. She became one with her own form, and then she united with Shiva, which is here. Shiva is the ultimate source. Shakti came out of that source, did all the work, then did all the practice sadhana, and understood who she was and went again to the source. So, this cycle which Ma Shakti followed, we are also following the same cycle. And in the end, when we activate Kundalini, that means we activate Ma Shakti in us. And then Ma Shakti has that eligibility or capacity to go and unite back to the source. And when she goes and unite back the source, that means we go and unite back to the source.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for that.
Actually, this day is celebrated in India. It's called Shakti Day. Few days before, we have celebrated this Shakti Day, because actually that's the day, according to the literature, when Ma Parvati finished her sadhana and she left all her five elements and became Shakti again, Adi Shakti again, and then she was eligible to get connected and her union with Shiva happened. So that day is actually celebrated for this reason.
Amazing. It's so beautiful. We can really see what the path is. It becomes so clear, right? That we're first trying to strengthen this part in ourselves that is the inner guru or the Shakti. We're trying to, we're feeding it with mantras, we're feeding it with energy so that we can follow her trajectory, the path that she already laid out for us, because it's the path that she took. And so she's the one that brings us back. I find it just so beautiful. So thank you so much for sharing all that. I feel like we learned a lot here, and a lot became very clear. And I hope you come back, because I have now a million more questions that I want to ask you. But thank you so much, Gurumaa, for being here with us. And
Sure.
yeah.
Thank you so much.